Hey, and welcome to the Megabonk Crash Course. In this crash course, I'll be speeding through many tips. These tips are what will allow you to get better runs in Megabonk. So sit down and memorize all the tips you're about to hear. First thing you will want to know is go into your settings, scroll down in the game tab. Underneath other, you want to turn on debug speed. I personally also want to turn on debug FPS and debug RAM so you can see all these stats in the bottom left corner. And if you want to do very fast repeated runs, quick reset allows you to hold R to reset your run. Now that you have the speed debug on, you can start learning how to b-hop effectively. Diagonal movement and jumping at the right time. If you hold control, it becomes a little bit easier because if you don't jump on time, you'll still slide with the new momentum you've gained, allowing you to gain more momentum in the long run. If you slide down a hill and you jump afterwards, you gain even more speed. Alright. So right here you see a golden chest. These chests are always free. If you open them, you'll just get a random item reward. Cheese, in this case, is actually one of the best green items in the entirety of the game because it has a 40% chance to poison enemies on hit. This poison chance stacks additively, meaning if you have 5 cheeses, you'll get 200%. Now, you might think, but why would I want 200%? Wouldn't 3 cheese be enough with 120%? Yes and no. So, there is overstacking in this game. If you get 200% chance to poison, it means if you hit an enemy, they now have 2 stacks of poison on them instead of just the 1. This here is a Shady Guy shop. In this case, we've got 3 rare items on offer because this Shady Guy has a blue hat on his head. Here I'm showing you a Shady Guy with 3 legendaries in the offer because he has a golden helmet. There's another one on this side that is also a golden helmet legendary guy. And here is a black-hatted Shady Guy, and as I said, he usually has the commons, but he can have higher rarity items as well. Here's a Shady Guy with a pink hat or a purple hat, whatever you want to call it. He will guaranteed have epics in here or higher. As you can clearly see, this guy even has a legendary in there. And these mobs just dropped me a chest on the ground that is glowing like that. That is something that will drop from every first elite you kill in every run, guaranteed. It will also drop every mini boss and main boss you kill. Right here, you can see a greed shrine. These greed shrines, when used, will give you some gold, as well as 5% difficulty. Right now we have 0 difficulty. If we hit E on this, we will get 5% difficulty gain. Difficulty in this case is a stat we value very much when we try to get very hard, very high level runs. Why? Because the difficulty modifier makes more monsters spawn each spawn cycle. It does indeed also make the mobs skill faster on their health and damage. But there's a limit to how much health they can get and how much damage they can do. There is also a limit on how many mobs can spawn each spawn cycle. When we don't have any difficulty, we will spawn, give or take, anywhere from 50 to 100 mobs every spawn cycle. Now, if you have 400-500% difficulty, this number can go upwards to 250 mobs each spawn cycle, which is the limit. Meaning, if you want to get a top leaderboard run, you will need to have at least 500 plus difficulty so that 250 mobs spawn each cycle. As you can see here, we've got 49% difficulty, and this is what is spawning. This is all the mobs that are spawning around us. There are so little mobs spawning because we don't have a lot of difficulty that it almost feels like there's no mobs spawning due to how strong we are at the moment and how little mobs are spawning. Right here, you can see a Maui statue. These statues will give you 3 options or 2, and these items are free to take. You just have to find the statue and talk to it. In most runs, you want to know how to find these points of interest. The Shady Guy, the Greed Shrine, these Suck Shrines, the Challenge Shrines, all of these. Well, if you look at the minimap, you can see the green diamonds. The green diamonds signify points of interest. In this case, the Shady Guys, or the Maui statues, or the Suck Shrines, or Boss Curse Shrines, which I'll show in a later part of the video, as well as Challenge Shrines. All of these are very interesting, and you should really look for them in your runs. This is what's known as a Shrine of Suck. When you use this, it'll suck all the EXP on the map towards you, allowing you to level up rapidly if you haven't picked up EXP in a while. There will be about 8 of these every stage you go into. Right here you can see a double arrow power up. This is one of many power ups you can find in the game. This is the speed power up, and it will give you increased movement speed. This is a healing pickup. When you pick it up, you will be healed if you had taken damage. If you don't have any damage, you can't even pick it up. So let's get some damage and we can pick it up. See? The healing it gives is based off of your max health as well as the power up. This right here is a nuke power up. When you pick it up, it'll create an explosion around you that most of the time will one-shot enemies. The only things it won't really one-shot are mobs like bosses or mini bosses. This right here is a magnet power up. It will do the same thing as the Shrine of Suck. It'll suck in all the EXP in the surrounding area into your character. Right here, you can see a challenge shrine. These challenge shrines also appear on the minimap with the green diamond, and when you use them, it spawns mobs that are trying to kill you. Once you beat all of the mobs that spawned, they will drop a chest for you. This chest is just a free item that you get for beating the mobs. This right here is a charge shrine. You gotta get inside of this bubble around it, and once you wait for a little bit to charge it, it'll give you a choice between 3 random options of bonuses. These bonuses have rarities attached to them, which will be influenced by your luck stat. If you have high enough luck, which we happened to not have this time, you could get a legendary reward in this. Legendary rewards are mostly going to just be the same stat as any of these, but 2 or 3 times as much of the stat. In this case, we did get EXP offered. This is one of 4 ways we can gain bonus EXP. We've got the Time Bracelet, which is a way to get EXP gain. We've got the Echo Shard, which is a way to get EXP gain. And we have EXP Tome, which we didn't take this run, which is the 3rd, and then this is the 4th way of getting more EXP gain. That's all the ways we can gain EXP gain, but keep in mind, EXP gain is capped at 10 times the base value. Outside of the Echo Shard, which doesn't really have a cap on it because it's just extra EXP orbs falling onto the ground, that is the main bonuses to EXP you can get. Follow up on the charge shrines, this is another one. There are 15 of these on each stage. If you're playing tier 1 forest, there's only 1 stage. If you're playing tier 2 forest, there's 2 stages. If you're playing tier 3 forest, there's 3 stages, as well as a final boss stage, but the final boss stage doesn't actually have any points of interest outside of just the boss fight. If you happen to pick up a beacon item on stage 1, it will spawn 2 extra charge shrines in stage 2 and 3 if you're playing tier 3. If you're only playing tier 2, it'll only spawn 2 more in stage 2. If you happen to find this item on stage 2, it'll only affect stage 3. If you find it on stage 3, the only thing it'll do is make these circles around the charge shrine that heal you over time while you stand in them. There are normal chests on the ground that you can buy with the gold you've earned in the top left from killing mobs or touching the greed shrines. On the top right, next to your level, you'll see a chest icon with money next to it. That is the price for the next chest you open that is locked like this that you gotta pay for. Now keep in mind, every chest you open will increase the price that you need to pay for the very next chest. Now the next chest is 72. This also increases the price of Shady guys. If there's any Shady guys on the map that you haven't traded with, and you buy a chest, that price will go up. Now, if you get close to the edge of the map, make sure to not do so at the interval of a swarm wave. If you hit the edge of the map, or even worse, the corner of a map, at a spawn timer of a swarm wave, if you happen to be near the edge when they spawn, you will most likely get overwhelmed. Right here, you can see the shield power-up. The shield power-up is one of many power-ups that can drop just like the movement one. It will give you a protective bubble around you that stops you from taking any and all damage. This right here is a boss curse shrine. This is one of the many point of interest that the minimap shows with the green diamond. If you hit E on this, every time you spawn a boss now on the map, including the mini bosses, you will get more than 1 boss. If you touch 7 of those shrines, you'll get 8 bosses to spawn total in that one spawn cycle. This is very good if you own a lot of items, but at the same time, it could kill your run, because too many bosses will just kill you. As you can see, there are red swirls going around in the air. These red swirls mean that the boss shrine is nearby. In this case, they're right next to me, and it will be shown with a red diamond on the minimap on the top right. If we found it once and we run away from it, the minimap will actually give us a red arrow to show in what direction the boss shrine is. If you look up anywhere else, you'll see like white streaks through the air. These are wind. This is just aesthetic. You can fully ignore those. We touched the one boss shrine, so we now have 2 bosses. This includes the final boss of the stage, and this will reset for every stage you've beaten. Now that you've done probably a couple runs, and you're probably wondering, how does Harneth have 7 vanishes, 7 skips, and 7 refreshes? Now, you get those by buying them in a shop. Same with the weapon slots and tome slots, as well as the toggler, which is one of the best things you can buy. The toggler and all that, to know how to unlock them, go to your quests, go to the general page, and click on these quests. It'll say shop item weapon slots, shop item tome slots. Now, the 3rd tome slot is 35, the 4th one is 55 quests completed, the 3rd weapon is 25 quests, and the 4th weapon is 45 quests. Completing 20 quests unlocks you the ability to buy refreshes, 30 quests is for skips, and 40 quests is for banishes. If you want to be able to choose the music at the start, like I can right at the bottom right here, you'll have to find every single jukebox, like it said right here, boombox, in the forest map and activate them. The toggler, which is in my opinion one of the most important things to actually get, because it lets you go into the unlocks and select which weapons show up and which ones don't. This is also why during your run on Ufi earlier, you only saw these default weapons as well as the Aegis, because everything else was turned off. So the only weapons that could show up were the weapons up here that are default, which we cannot turn off or on, and the Aegis because it was turned on. For the tomes, the Cursed Tome was turned off, the Quantity was on, etc, etc. To unlock the toggler, you need to go and check your quest, general, and it says purchase 40 unlocks. Now, 40 unlocks means any of these items that you've unlocked. See, this one isn't unlocked yet, so I have to beat a stage boss with less than 10 HP left, then it's unlocked, and I gotta buy it with silver. That is the actual unlock you gotta do to unlock this toggler, and then buy it in the shop. Once you've done that, you can start toggling and messing around with which items you want to see, which ones you don't want to see. To easily explain Lifesteal, let's look at what the Bloody Tome says. Plus Lifesteal, your chance to heal for 1 when you hit an enemy. Over 100% will guarantee to heal 1 and give a chance to heal for a total of 2. Meaning, every percentage of Lifesteal between 1 and 100% will give you a chance when you hurt an enemy to heal 1 HP. Now, when you hurt an enemy, that means you could hurt them with thorns. That means you could hurt them with poison. That means you could hurt them like the poison from cheese. You can hurt them with a intractable ghost that is spawned by the ghost summon item. You could even get them from triggering the cactus effect on them, which I currently can't show you, but this is like AoE thorns, sort of. When you get hurt, it damages everyone around you. If you have Toxic Barrel on, the poison on nearby enemies will still trigger the Lifesteal. And if you have 101% to 200%, you'll heal 2 HP. Now, if you happen to have 10,000% Lifesteal, you'll heal like 100 every time you hit an enemy. This is why Lifesteal is that much better than the HP regen, because HP regen is shown as the amount of health you regenerate per minute. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, but HP regen isn't given very easily. Even the medkit, which is straight up only giving you HP regen, doesn't even give you 1 health a second of regen. It gives you less than, which in my opinion is very bad. I personally wish I could disable the medkit as well as the HP regen tome, because they are just that bad in my opinion. While we're at the tome page, let's explain crit chance, because the precision tome allows us to explain it while reading the text very easily and without having to dodge and weave around mobs. So every percentage of crit chance increases our chance to deal critical damage. But in normal games, 100% crit chance would be the max. In Megabonk, that is not the case. In Megabonk, if you get 101%, you can now overcrit, which is also known as multi-critting. So if you have a 200% crit chance, you will guaranteed multi-crit and do not just 1 time critical damage, but 2 times the critical damage. So let's say you have no additional critical damage other than the base critical damage, which is just a ×2. Getting to 200% crit chance makes you do ×3 damage. It adds 100% critical damage in theory. This means if you happen to play a character like Clank, which happens to get crit chance on every level up, each level after level 100 will still be worth it because you're overcritting. If you get Bush character, which gets crit damage per level, you want to stack your critical chance with the critical chance item, as well as some, and not all, charge shrines into some crit chance, so you have at least that base 100%, and maybe even go for 200% so that the crit damage gets counted more than once. This will be multiplicative, therefore you just deal that much more damage. The final swarm is something that'll start when the timer of 10 minutes runs out, or after you've killed the stage boss, because once you kill the stage boss, the timer gets set to 10 seconds if it was anywhere above 10 seconds. So if you kill the stage boss with 2 minutes remaining, you will lose, give or take, a minute 50 of your total time on that stage to farm and become stronger. I happened to kill this boss early by about 40 seconds, so we got, well, 37 seconds. We lost 37 seconds of potential to farm and just gain EXP without having the final swarm attempt to kill me. So once you found yourself onto stage 2 after beating tier 1 and beating the stage boss on a tier 2 run, you'll get to stage 2. Stage 2 will start with only 9 minutes on the clock. And when a charge shrine gives you the power up drop chance option, I would personally recommend taking it because a power up drop chance increases the amount of chances that there are for a random mob to drop you a power up. But in this case, power ups aren't just power ups, they also include free chests that drop off of your mini boss as well as the challenge shrine mobs. So taking this means you can have way more free chests in a total length run, and especially the final swarm, because the final swarm cannot actually drop a normal power up. They cannot drop rage, they cannot drop nukes, they cannot drop time stops, they cannot drop movement speed, healing, or any of that, but they can still drop chests. And as this text says, power-up drop chance increases the chance for enemies to drop power-ups and chests. And it specifies chests separately because it's not considered a true power-up, but the game, for this specific stat, does include it, meaning we want it as much as we can get it. Sometimes a charge shrine will offer you Power-Up Multiplier. Now, the Power-Up Multiplier does not affect anything useful for us in most cases. The only time you really take Power-Up Multiplier is, let's say, you get offered Thorns and Silver Gain as well as Power-Up Multiplier. Now, if you're playing the Fragile Challenge, you would never take Thorns at all because you can't touch a mob. But in most cases, you take Power-Up Multiplier anyway because Thorns is not really something we use in many runs. And Power-Up Multiplier would be giving us a longer duration as a more powerful effect on the power-ups. Now, the power-ups in this case are the health orbs that drop off of mobs like the hearts. They would heal more with Power-Up Multiplier. If you take the stopwatch, the time stop would be longer. If you take the nuke, the radius would be a bit bigger. If you take the movement speed upgrade that we showed earlier, you'd move faster and longer for faster speeds. If you get the rage upgrade, you'd have a little bit more attack speed as well as damage percentage gain from it, as well as how long the duration is on you. So instead of 5 seconds with maybe 20% Power-Up Multiplier, you'd have 6 seconds. This right here is a microwave. A microwave allows you to copy any of the item of its color. In this case, a white microwave allows you to copy commons or greens. And if you have cheese, I would recommend copying cheese. Otherwise, you can even ignore it till you find the cheese and just go back to it. It costs a little bit of money to just choose one of these items. And now, let's say I choose the evasion ring. It'll eat one of my other green items to then make it into that said evasion ring that I chose at the start of the menu. If you wish to avoid fall damage, you can do so by jumping down edges and hugging a wall that you go down to, or in most cases, which is easier to do, is let's say I want to go down, I jump down and I hold control while hitting a sloped edge. Now, there's a lot of sloped edges in this game. Even some of these rocks count as sloped edges. If you hit a sloped edge while holding control, it sees it as you trying to gain speed, and therefore it doesn't give you fall damage. And that's all the tips that we've got covered in this crash course so far. If you've liked the video, if you've liked the crash course, please don't forget to subscribe. There's only 0.1% of my viewers subscribe to my channel. Every other person that watches my videos hasn't subscribed. It would do me a big favor if you could subscribe to my videos. And leave a like and comment. If you have any questions about anything in the game, please do leave a comment. I'll try my best to answer them to the utmost detail that I can. Help you out with those questions. If there's a lot of questions being asked repeatedly or they're a little bit more in-depth and I want to do another video, I'll probably end up either doing a short on it or I'll make a crash course video part 2. Thank you all for watching and have a blessed day.